It's very good evening to everyone. Today, I'm going to give a demonstration related to automation Selenium testing. So, let me tell you about this particular course that, this course is appropriate for both freshers and as well as an experienced people. So if you have an experience, you can keep as many number of years of experience you have, up to 6, 7 years experience. Whatever the course curriculum you are going to learn, up to 10 years of experience, this particular course is going to be useful for you. And today I'm going to talk about, the slides which I'm going to display to you. That So introduction related to, automation testing. So firstly, this Aladi Cloud Institution is having its own vision and as well as mission. So the vision is to be we want it to be a center of excellence for the sustainable technologies to make our Aladi Cloud Institute is. And our mission is that, we wanted to empower, like you empower professionals in order to be learn the technologies which are essentials to be survive in the current industry. That's the mission of this particular Aladi Cloud Institution. And comes to, I would like to focus and demonstrate today related to this particular topic, such as what exactly a testing is, why it is going to be very important, what are the classical examples we are going to have, and what's the purpose of the manual testing, and what program significance will play a role in order to transform the manual testing into a automation testing. And obviously, what demonstration you are going to see this particular Selenium automation process. I'll be show you that hands-on knowledge to you. And what is the scope of this particular testing? What are the areas it is going to validate and verify? And obviously applications, what they are using for validation purpose. Clear? So you are going to learn an entire this particular process. Let me show you the syllabus. So firstly, in entire this particular course curriculum, firstly, an automation testing is going to be implemented through the Python concept. And what sort of Python curriculum you are going to learn, and what sort of manual testing curriculum you are going to learn, what automation frameworks you are going to learn. First, let me show to you. Firstly, let me show it to you that, yeah, I hope. Firstly, let me show you the Python curriculum that you are going to learn. Introduction to the Python, why it is important, Python for testing, data science, AI/ML, automation, for everything. Python is very quite common language. And obviously data types and as well as the Python fundamentals or tokens of the Python you are going to learn. Obviously the operators in the Python as other programming you are going to learn. And strings data structure, tuple data structure, set data structure, list data structure, dictionary, all these are very importantly supposed to be learned. And Python conditional statements, which comes under control statements, looping statements, and special statements. All together you are going to learn, and list and dictionary comprehension you are going to learn. Functions concepts, anonymous functions like lambda functions, generators, module, packages, and functions, exception handling, error handling concepts, classes, which is a object-oriented programming you are going to learn, like classes, objects, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction. All these concepts you are going to learn. And data science related packages such as the NumPy, pandas, datetime, and regular expressions we are going to learn, files concepts. Web scraping concept will be an important concept, which is a regular expression related concepts, where you are going to learn beautiful SOAP related concepts. And databases such as MySQL, MongoDB, Firebase, AWS, you are going to learn as part of the industry backend related things, data analysis related things, API connection to extract the data from the APIs, and Python related frameworks such as a Flash, Django you are going to learn, and projects you are going to learn as part of that. This is the curriculum related to Python is concerned for the automation testing, for the full stack testing, like full stack Python developer, you can say. And apart from this, somebody is going to learn for the same syllabus, which is related to data science and AI/ML too. And comes to the Selenium testing, where this syllabus is going to be covered for the Selenium testing. So where you are going to learn, the role of automation testing in the real world, what are the software development life cycle, what are the bug life cycle, what are the major concepts in software testing you are going to learn. Obviously, Python, by the time you are going to start the automation and manual testing, these all portions you are going to be complete over here. Then the software development testing life cycle is going to be covered. Manual testing related fundamental theory you are going to learn completely. And obviously, a lot of artifacts you are going to learn over here. And Selenium WebDriver automation frameworks you are going to learn. Web locators and web elements to perform the functional testing and UI testing you have to learn. Obviously, you will be go with the Selenium automation level 1, which is a PyTest related things, hybrid, POM, page object model, all these you are going to learn, parameterization testing, PyTest framework. These are the different framework on which we will be able to test your application. Data-driven testing, unit testing, also known as a test-driven development testing, and behavior data-driven testing, which is a BDT, where Gherkin language we are going to use, API testing, mobile testing, and related to relevant to that particular projects you are going to do. So these are all particular concepts you are going to learn as part of the automation testing, which includes the manual testing too. And Python related topics I have shown to you. So in this particular curriculum, do you have any questions? So do you expect beyond that particular stage? This entire the curriculum is a 3 months curriculum. 1 month is a product. So totally 4 months is the duration for this particular course. So till now, if you have any questions related to the topic, you can ask me directly without any hesitation. Like, Akila, Vasumati, Harika, Samyukta, and Sandeep, do you have any questions related to the topics, what I have shown to you? If you have any questions, you can ask me directly without any hesitation. Do you have any questions? Guys, do you have any questions? Okay. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm talking about. Let us go through with brief, introduction towards, demonstration point of view. Yeah. I have shown you this particular topic. Subsequently, I'm going to talk about defining classical examples, manual testing and programs, automation testing, scope of the testing and applications of the testing you are going to learn. When it comes to while defining a testing, I hope this particular word is quite commonly you guys are familiar. A testing is the process of verification and validation of a particular web application or maybe a particular hardware device or particular electronic device. Any object in the real world, if you want it to release in the market as a product or as a project in the market, we have to validate and verify properly with respect to the end user client point of view, then we are going to be released in the market. So that's a definition of this particular testing. Obviously, you know that, what exactly, this testing is obviously, it is the finding a defect in a particular device is existing or not. Let's suppose, you have developed, phone pay is the product. So before going to release a phone pay product into the market, we have to, being a testing engineer, being a quality analyst, being a quality assurance engineer, you have to test this particular product has any kind of a defect or not. Defect means errors. Defect means, failures. Such all these bugs are going to be checked during this particular, when the product is under the test at a client side or maybe at a development location. Check whether the product is having defect or not. That is the process of the testing. Sometimes, formally we can able to see scientifically or programmatically, the definition to is the testing is the process of verification and validation. Generally, whenever you buy the particular product, will be verified that the given features are available in the product or not. But we are not going to be validated. But before the application release in the market, we have to validate by giving an appropriate inputs, reliability, performance, usability, user interface, functional level, security level, ETL level, and all these particular types of testing we are going to validate. If all the expectations are equal to the client requirements, then the product is going to be released in the market. That will be happens manually as well as it would be happen automatically. So if you want to perform a manual testing, you need not to have any programming language. But if you wanted to validate a particular product through automation, you should have any one particular programming language such as either Java, Python, C hash, Ruby, Groovy, Golang. There will be miscellaneous languages we are going to apply in order to test an application. Now comes to the third definition for the testing is that, so process of developing a bug-free software, isn't it? By conducting a testing is called, you know what? A testing process. So as per my knowledge, a testing can be a bug. A bug can be detected during testing. During testing, a verification and validation is also it does. During the testing process, a bug-free software can be developed such a way that it will be survive in the for the in the industry or maybe in the market for a longer time. So therefore, if you wanted to release any product in the market, the testing become very vital role. Therefore, the testing engineers like quality analysts are much more required at a company level at any particular company, either MNC or startup or any company we can say. Is that clear? I hope think so. See, if you have any questions at any time, you could ask me the question such a way that I could give you the justification for your questions. Right. So let's suppose, you wanted to develop, you wanted to, prepare a recipe, at home or maybe at a hotel. Being a chef, you wanted to release a particular steps to be prepare the recipe. What kind of testing you are going to do? Those steps are quite common at a food industry. Let's suppose, let's take, if you wanted to test a recipe, it's a process basically. It is a process, right? So obviously it is repeatedly making the recipe to perfect it and ensure that a foolproof, or which is the POC we can say, a full proof of concept, in order to read it to recreate in their own other time. Because if you wanted to prepare a recipe, whatever the steps you are going to follow to make recipes, very perfectly, very tasty. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it is generalized example which is required to test, because you are going to release these steps to be prepare a recipe in the market who can learn eventually. For that reason, the testing is mandatory. Obviously, what exactly it is going on here? So we are going to be, after testing, will also be gives us the feedback during the recipe development process and answer certain questions are as below. Does this particular curry recipe need more spicy? Because it is the audience, like which is the customer's requirement, which is going to come certain people according to their requirement. We have to check whether that particular product is that particular recipe is meeting their expectations or not. These questions are going to be answerable while testing a particular product or particular process or particular project. Does this particular recipe to be prepared or tasty, lower the temperature or different pan is required or not? Because depends on the temperature level, depend on the pan also, the taste is going to be changes accordingly. Therefore, these are all things mandatory to understand them. So obviously here are my recipe instructions very clear enough for readers to be followed? Because if you release this particular testing steps in the market after you complete the test, this particular steps will be taken as a role model, as a benchmark in order to prepare the recipe at their home. Therefore, this question is also be answerable properly. And do I need to be more specific? Whatever the recipe related ingredients you are using, do you really more specific or generalized ingredients are going to be used? All these particular questions are going to be, answerable accordingly. Clear? Yes. Okay. So now, how do you test a particular recipe? Generally, the steps are going to be involved. Obviously, the ingredients, quantities of the ingredients, cooking methods and temperature, directions, equipment, what you are using to prepare the recipe, all these are going to test according to the benchmark standards, are they meeting or not. according to the end user's requirement, fulfillment, or their expectations. If you follow these particular things, the expectations are meeting or not, we are going to test it during the recipe preparation. Okay. The best way to test the recipe, obviously, test each recipe at 2 or 3 times, whether it is meeting the end user requirements or not. For each test, change only one gradient such a way that which allows you to be determine exactly what effect is going to be changed has. Okay. Then obviously write down everything, what observation you have made after you change a one particular integrate, like whatever the ingredient. Okay. So, analyze the taste with a tester. The testers are going to check after changing certain things, is that any changes made or not? Is that expected fulfillment reached or not? All these testers are going to be tested. Okay. So obviously consider having someone else to prepare the recipe in their home kitchen or not after following this particular recipe, we can say, right? The test recipe in different kitchens with the different appliances and cookware, such a way that, somebody, we can say that while preparing the biryani, kunda biryani, like that people used to be handi biryani, like that people used to tell, right? So why all these particular appliances going to be used or cookware are going to be used? Because people will say that, if we change the pans, if we change the appliances, the taste is going to be changed, it seems, such a way that, people expectations are like that, people are getting those experiences, therefore we have to change accordingly and we have to prepare. The way how you are going to follow these certain rules and regulations during this particular preparation of the recipe, how the test would happen, the same kind of a test is going to happen in the real world also. Whenever you develop a particular product, you are going to test that. Whenever you particular develop a product, you will be test accordingly. So same steps are going to be involved, every product to be tested properly. It is mandatory test. This test is called, what a quality analyst is going to be does. Is it clear? Okay. So in this type of software testing, that involves running the test cases without using automated tools also to find the bugs and issues in the software applications. This entire the process is called, what this particular point will say that it's a manual testing, we can see manual testing. So in this particular area, we require, in order to perform the sum of two numbers like x and y, result is going to be stored 30. Test case one is what? Whenever you perform the, obviously sum between 10 and 20, we expect the result is going to be 30. Is that going to give you 30 or not? We are going to check as a one test case. If it is equal, test case is going to be pass. Is test case is less than 30, obviously this is a failed test case. If it is greater than 30, also a failed test case. Is that clear? This is how for each case study, we are going to test positive, negative, neutral, which means what? Boundary value analysis is going to be tested. Boundary value analysis and equivalence class partitions are going to be, a common metrics in order to test an application, which such a way that, the end of the product doesn't have any kind of a defect or bugs or erroneous. Such kind of products are going to be survive in the longer run. That's the main motivation behind it. Okay. Obviously, in this particular process, we have to test an application either manually as well as, either automatically. So obviously, if you test application manually, hardly 1-2 applications per day you can test. You cannot test 1 lakh applications per day. Therefore, what is the need of the program here? So program is going to be obviously defined as a set of instructions written using any computer programming language to perform a specific task. This is called, a definition of the program. If you have a programming knowledge such a way that automation testing is quite commonly very easy. Just like the program instructions would be written like that, each particular line will be called as a program instruction. Declaring x is equal to 100 is the memory allocation. Declaring y is equal to 200 as another memory allocation. Taking the values which are holding by x and y, we are performing the sum of two. Storing the memory buffer called as result, and I'm printing onto that. So this is the quite a small program where program instructions are required in order to write a program accordingly for perform a specific task, right? Okay. So now I'm just showing you like how the Selenium program is look like. So obviously, if you look at this particular program, this PyTest is going to be a PyTest is going to be a framework, which is a built-in framework. And while writing a one test case, we are going to declare the program within the class. Class is the object-oriented programming concept. It is a class name. And here I wanted to test this particular performing the object equal or not. I wanted to test. So 2020 equal or not, 3030 equal or not, Alladi equal or not, and training equal or not. This is not equal to this particular training because it is a case sensitive. T is small and the capital T is different. Here it is equal, true. Here it is equal, true. Here it is equal to. But this case is going to be false because this training and training is not equal. This is how a test is going to be happen using the obviously, a test PyTest concept, we can say. Let me quickly execute one small program and show you how the Selenium is going to automate an application, whether successfully it is going to be log in a particular application or not. Let me open. Let's see this particular application. I have shown you, right? Here there is a PyTest is a framework. I'm just checking in the database. There is a name is called as a Srini. At a client side, an application is checking a database, whatever the name is holding, is that checking my name is a Srini equal or not. I'm testing. I'm checking. Now here what happens? This particular Srini and this Srini from the database are equal. Obviously what happened? This test case is going to be passed. Assert is like a if-else statement. If the names are mismatched, this error is going to be shown onto the screen. Similarly, phone number is going to be matched. And here, even though I said right, even though the sum of two numbers are equal or not is going to be tested. So let's firstly, I'll be check it out. I'm checking 200 plus 100 is going to be 300 equal or not. Now you have written one class, 3 test cases I have written. For this particular application executing properly, I wanted to check. In order to test the particular application in the kernel, which is called as a terminal, we are going to check over here. Let me execute and show to you that how the test case is going to be happen over here. Right. So here I'm testing. There is a PyTest is a framework -v -s, and my program is available in Selenium, where test PyTest demo one, which is the program I'm executing. Now you execute, you see here 3 name checking, 4 number checking, and sum of 2 numbers are correct or not. Like if you look at 3 cases are passed: name validation, phone number validation, and the sum of 2 numbers are equal or not. All 3 cases have been already tested. It will give you the summary of the test cases. 3 test cases are failed. Now what I'll do here, I'm going to make a small mistake. Database name is this, but here I'm going to check a small, I'll remove this. If we check now, that one test case is going to fail. You see now, you see once. One case failed. Are you seeing, guys? I hope you are seeing one test case failed. What is that particular test failed? You see here, Srini Midde is the database name, but what I'm comparing here is that this. Here he is missing. So therefore, obviously, this particular Srini Midde is not equal to this particular Srini. Therefore, this test case is failed. Similarly, the phone number which is there in the database, this, here I'm going to miss 5. Now again, I'm going to execute the program, see what happens. What happens? Two test cases are going to fail now. I hope you are seeing my screen. That 2 test cases are failed. What are the test cases you have failed? You see here, phone number which is there in database, and I'm checking this database have been failed. This is how the test cases each is going to pass. Only one case is passed, which is sum of 2 numbers. Let's suppose X and Y are 300. Let's suppose I wanted to make it as a 400. 300 is not equal to 400, right? This case also going to be tested positively, negatively. All boundary cases are going to be tested over here. Let's again check. Execute regression wise. 3 test cases have been failed. This is a one way to test a particular test cases. Let's go with another program that I'm checking that a login page is correctly working or not. Let's see here. Now what I'm doing here is that There is an application called as a sasdemo.com. Manually, let me show you. Manually, let me show you. What is that? Sasdemo.com. Sasdemo.com. This is a web application. The user ID is problem user and password is a secret underscore SAS. Whenever if I give username and password, whenever I'm clicking on click login, it has to be go to the next page. Yes, successfully logged in. Which means I'm testing a web application. Is that taking right username, password, and it is login to the next page, or I wanted to test automatically by writing a Python script. Is that happening or not? Let me see. Let me execute now. What is that? Test PyTest login page. This is a program. You don't understand everything right now, but after you joining, I'll tell you how exactly it will be happen. So let me execute this particular program to check. Like PyTest hyphen yes, hyphen v, Selenium, within which the name of the particular file is that, yeah, login demo I wanted to check, execute it. You see, observe carefully. The program is running. Absolutely. Now program is absolutely login automatically without I provided any value automatically. Four cases are passed because four cases are there. Facebook login successfully done or not, Instagram page are login successful or not, PHP travels application is successfully logged in or not. Four test cases are passed. Obviously, it has shown the corresponding summary of that also. This is how automatically, without the intervention of the tester, by writing an automation script, the program is getting validated. This is the process is followed whenever you learn the how to automation testing through the PyTest as a framework, we can say. Clear? So this is how the this automation testing is going to be happen. Obviously, I have shown you that how the program will be written, right? So it requires little programming knowledge in order to understand that. Right? So Selenium program, like, I have shown just now that, right? This is a program I have shown you by executing. This application is a program, which is a web application by username, password, clicking on the button automatically happens without your user intervention. These are the lines are going to be related to Python. This Selenium is the package, WebDriver is the class where the time is going to be a module, where the WebDriver need to be installed, where the WebDriver need to be installed in the local machine. We have to get the URL to which we are going to test will be maximized, and finding a web element in the web application by providing an appropriate web locator, passing the value through send underscore keys or methods. Likewise, these are all, technical things. After you learn the Python, you will get to know what exactly these particular lines will do. What is the need of that? Are you clear, guys? Obviously. Scope of the testing is that you will become a web app testing engineer, you will become a mobile testing engineer, you will become a white box testing engineer, which is a unit testing engineer, or maybe a database testing engineer. You will be perform security testing, you will be perform embedded testing, hardware testing, performance testing, ETL testing. All these are the type of testing we can does if you learn this particular automation testing process. And in fact, these are the types of testing are mandatory. Even now, automatic cars, even though nowadays, embedded testing, embedded devices are developing more, IoT devices are developing more. In fact, AI is changing complete world. Embedded testing, hardware testing, security testing, database testing, all these are very quite common. In order to perform them, definitely you have a bright scope in order to learn this particular course. Definitely, I could give the guarantee about it. Okay. Then similarly, if you have any questions, you can ask me such a way that my demonstration is going to be concluded accordingly. Do you have any questions, guys? Yeah, Akila, Bhushan, Vasumati, Dharawat, Harika, Samyukta, and Sandeep. Do you have any questions, guys? So without hesitation, I'm expecting your questions such a way that I can give you the justification and then conclude my demonstration. Any questions, guys? You can unmute yourself and you can able to ask me any questions, guys. Because you wanted to join, obviously, from Monday onwards, the classes are going to be start. So if you have any kind of questions, you can ask me. Okay. Dharawat Vasumati doesn't have any questions. What about Akila? What about Samyukta? And what about Sandeep, Harika? Harika, do you have any questions?
No, sir, I don't have.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. What about Sandeep? Sandeep, Samyukta, Akila? So guys, if you wanted to be joined for the course, you have to enroll. And obviously, I'm expecting your physical presence at the office and try to come and do the formalities and you can able to enroll for the course so that the Monday onwards, you will have actual classes are going to start. So thank you so much to everyone. We'll meet again in the class. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Vasumati? Vasumati?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank
this
you.
session today.